Jaecoo is a sub-brand under the Chery Group established in 2023 with a sole purpose of selling SUVs outside of China. Now, you may see resemblance of a Jaecoo model running around in China, but the Jaecoo brand was never marketed in the Middle Kingdom. The name Jaecoo is a portmanteau of Jäger, which means hunter in German, and cool, a cool hunter. It's positioned to be a stylish premium offering within the Chery Group, above Chery but below Exceed, which is the group's most premium luxury marque. According to JPJ registration data, up to 31st August 2025, the Jaecoo J7 makes up almost 40% of Chery's total registrations in Malaysia for 2025. Yes, Jaecoo, Omoda, and iCAUR are all parked under the Chery brand, according to JPJ registration data, effectively making the J7 the single most important and most popular product within the Chery Group's portfolio. And you can have the J7 in 3 different flavors, priced from 138,800 for this J7 two-wheel drive variant. But is it worth 15,000 ringgit premium over the Chery Tiggo 7 Pro that it shares its internals with? Let's find out. My name is Adrian, I'm all about the details, and you're watching cDrive. Many will link the Jaecoo as a Chinese knockoff of Land Rovers, but in reality, Chery is the local JV partner for Jaguar Land Rover in China. So I wouldn't call this a copy, but more of a knowledge transfer from their technical partner. Although it shares the same internals with the Tiggo 7 Pro 1.6 turbo, 7-speed dual-clutch rear multi-link suspension, the J7 is tweaked to be a little bit more off-road ready to suit its tough exterior design. For starters, the wheelbase is 2mm longer, 2,672mm, and it has a ground clearance of 200mm and a class-leading water-wading depth of 600mm. Between the 2 and all-wheel drive variants, the all-wheel drive would have additional off-road drive modes, bringing the total drive modes to 7, allowing you to trek into the wilderness confidently. Whereas the two-wheel drive variant is lighter on its feet and it's more fuel efficient, but push come to shove, you know that the J7 two-wheel drive will be able to clear light obstacles and take you one step further compared to conventional two-wheel drive SUVs given its ground clearance and water wading depth. To distinguish the 2 and all-wheel drive variant is only via the all-wheel drive emblem over the rear tailgate. Now, while this raised tailgate as well as light bar design gives us a very prominent look, driver practicality is actually slightly compromised. You see, just like in an Evoque, you get a very narrow glass, which hampers visibility out from the rear view mirror. Boot space opens up to 424 litres, the smallest in the segment, but you're still able to fit in a check-in size luggage as well as a cabin size with ease. And underneath, you get a full-size spare tyre. Now, my only gripe with this boot here is the flimsy tonneau cover that is misaligned. It's a little bit shorter over to the side edges. So yeah, it results in the tonneau cover snapping off when you're going over bumps and undulations quite often. Now, I like that there are plenty of tow hooks for you to, anchor your items down, and there are 2-3 kilograms load rating hooks over to the side here. The J7 has quite a trick keyless entry system. As you approach the car, the side mirrors will unfold and the door handles will pop out. However, it's only if you approach near to the car, then only the doors will unlock. One very cool thing in here is that when the car knows that you're approaching, the infotainment screen actually pre-boots, and once you enter the car, your wireless Apple CarPlay is already connected, playing your favorite tunes. I've picked up a few non-car people in the J7, and the common response that I got from them was that it's tough, rugged, yet feels quite good in here. They were drawing similarities with a G-Class Range Rover, and I think that boils down to the flat dashboard design, the grab handles over to the passenger side door, but that grab handle is not reflected over to the driver's side, as well as this chunky gear lever, which all gives off that utilitarian vibe. But the materials in here are far from utilitarian. You get soft touch at all the important touch points, and this, well, being a smaller screen in the Jaecoo two-wheel drive variant, is still big enough to give off that wow factor. But then it means that to access to these two placements to place your phone, you have to do this motion, because otherwise your phone will just, I think it's a little bit too big. This car almost has 40,000 kilometers on the clock, and the materials in here are holding up quite well. But I do get a little bit of creaks here and there, especially when going over very extensive dips. The kind of creaking noises you get in very seasoned cars. Center screen operation is slick enough, and you get loads of menus all laid out into one single page. Definitely a more sophisticated system compared to the Jaecoo 7 Pro. But I wonder that in the Apple CarPlay menu, because there's just so much real estate here, actually having the role of climate control and the home shortcut keys at the bottom permanently would be a whole lot more convenient, because otherwise now I have to swipe up to access the shortcut keys down here. And on the home screen, there's two pages, and on this page you're able to add your own widgets into the homepage screen. But because the widgets are very limited, so yeah, I think this is quite a wasted opportunity. Over to the instrument cluster, you're able to select between two different themes, and to access the menus over to the left side, all you have to do is just press the center circle button on the left spoke of the steering wheel, and then you're able to cycle through the different driving information on the left side of the screen. However, I feel that the English has a lot more room of improvement. For example, hold the left circle to clear. Yeah, it can be just simplified and summarized to hold circle to reset trip. Yeah, something like that. So that it makes it much more straightforward, much more easier to understand instead of a long sentence like that. To place your large size water bottle, not over to the side door bins, you have to place them underneath the center tile here, and the center armrest is actually quite spacious. You'll notice there's a vent here that pumps in cool air into the center armrest compartment, but based on my experience, it's never cool enough. So yeah. What I really like inside the J7, there are two things. First up is this little smart compartment here to place your tissue box. Yeah, you have to have a very tiny tissue box, and then there's an outlet here. Very clever and convenient. And you get a built-in driving video recorder, but you need to have a micro SD inserted right at the top here. Then you're able to record everything that's happening at the front.
Over to the passenger side, the seat is quite comfortable. Glove box is a conventional latch, and the main storage spaces are below the center consoles. Charging up your devices, there is a 50-watt wireless charging tray with cooling vent, USB Type-A and Type-C on the passenger side, so you have to help the driver to plug in their devices, or you can run one Type-A or Type-C cable from the rear. Vanity mirror is quite wide and has vanity lights.
2,672mm of wheelbase, you get roughly the same amount of rear space compared to the Jaecoo 7 Pro. I have the front seat adjusted to my usual driving position. I'm 175 cm tall, and I have about 2.5 tennis balls worth of knee room. Certainly will have 3 tennis balls worth of knee room. Now, it feels a little bit tighter in here simply because the front seats are chunkier compared to the Jaecoo 7 Pro. And in here, I'm able to recline the seats one step further for a more comfortable seating posture, and I get ample thigh support. I'm able to slot my feet underneath the front seat quite comfortably. So yeah, not too shabby. Parents can safely secure their kids over to the two outer seats that comes with ISOFIX mounting points, as well as adjust the front passenger seat with the Boss switch here. Off the bat, you can immediately tell that the Jaecoo is different from its Chery sibling. From the throttle response, engine response, transmission response, everything is just a lot more eager compared to the Jaecoo 7 Pro, which is more relaxed, comfort-oriented in nature. And even on paper that the J7 is slower compared to the Jaecoo 7 Pro to the Century Sprint, because of its eagerness in the transmission and throttle response, it gives you that impression to your butt dyno that it's a lot quicker than the numbers suggest. Everything just feels tighter in here, from the steering, the suspension, the rebound is definitely more solid compared to the Jaecoo 7 Pro. If I were to make a comparison, the Jaecoo, it's benchmarked against continental German makes, whereas the Jaecoo 7 Pro is benchmarked against Japanese car makers. To each their own. I myself think that this sort of firmness, I quite like it. Some would prefer to have their SUVs softer sprung. In County's J7 two-wheel drive, it's lighter on its feet in terms of the acceleration, steering feel, and of course this would translate into better fuel consumption compared to the all-wheel drive variant. I feel that if you are going soft-roading because of the ground clearance, the two-wheel drive has no issues at all. It's only when you want to go off-roading, then that's where the all-wheel drive system with its off-road drive modes will come into play, or rather should I say necessary for you to go that extra mile. So the two-wheel drive variant has a more relaxing character that's more suited for everyday city driving. What's also relaxed are the brake pedals. You see, the braking feel is very soft, softer than I expect this cool hunter to be. You really do have to go all the way and really feel for the biting point. It's not the kind of brake pedal feel where the moment you touch on the brakes, then it just clamps down the car. I myself personally, I prefer something that's bitier, that's more responsive in terms of its braking feel. But here I understand why Jaecoo made the J7 two-wheel drive brakes to be as such, because ultimately this is still a family SUV, which is why the softer brakes make sense. The first time you get into the J7, the brakes may catch you off guard, but after a few trips, getting used to it, modulating the brake pressure, you're able to perform very linear, smooth braking maneuvers, which your passengers would definitely appreciate. Out on the open road is where you truly appreciate the stiffer suspension setup, as well as the more composed ride compared to the Jaecoo 7 Pro, because it gives you that kind of confidence and assurance to carry a lot more speed into the corners. And as such, yeah, you get that more anchored down, planted feel in the J7. And this is where your money's worth. This is definitely a much more sophisticated ride quality, as well as steering, handling feel compared to the Chery. Power delivery is also a lot more eager. Put your foot down, and the transmission will be very eager to kick one gear lower and hold that gear for much longer compared to the Jaecoo 7 Pro. However, in this price point at this segment, still the Haval H6 HEV with 530 Nm of torque in its hybrid system, that is the one that will give you the most sort of acceleration performance for the money. At 110 km per hour, you're recording about 67-68 decibels, largely due to the undercarriage noise coming from the road noise. So just by switching out into a more premium set of tires will definitely solve this issue and bring down the overall cabin noise much lower.
Ever before? Yeah, I need it more than that. My lifestyle's a backpack, tatted in black, it's whack. I mean, it's like I'm hiding all the...
I can understand why the Jaecoo J7 is so popular among Malaysians. Although being in the same product segmentation with the Chery Jaecoo 7 Pro, the two cars target very different customer groups. The Jaecoo 7 Pro, with its smaller wheels, softer sprung suspension, as well as a more practical boot space, really is meant for those looking for a comfort-oriented family SUV. The J7 is clearly a more sophisticated product with its off-road design, the stiffer, more composed ride quality, as well as the clearance to go anywhere. Personally, I think to fully enjoy the J7 in all of its glory, definitely go for the all-wheel drive variant with off-road modes to take you places that you never imagined you could. But if today you prioritize fuel consumption and you just want this tough-looking design, yeah, then the two-wheel drive, it's more than enough. So the next time you're out comparing C-segment SUVs in the 150,000 ringgit price point, make sure you remember all the intricate details of the Jaecoo J7 two-wheel drive from my video and see how those cars stacks up against this off-road looking SUV. My name is Adrian. Thanks for watching cDrive, and make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel for more detailed videos like this. Bye-bye.
Hey, I'll keep no confidence in what I do. I've known that you've known me right through and through, and I will now abandon my own.